everyone, thank you for coming today. My name is Adriana Peace, and today I'm just going to go ahead and discuss the topic of legalizing marijuana. Now, I just want to start by asking you a quick question. How many of you have or know someone who has smoked marijuana? Okay, thank you. Now, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, 52.2% of college students have smoked weed at least one time in their lifetime. Now, looking at the statistics from the poll of the audience, that's about a little closer to about 66%, but just keep that in the back of your mind as I go through this presentation, okay? The fact of the matter is, legalization of marijuana can actually benefit more people than just your average pothead. And with that being said, I can provide you with 4 examples of how legalizing marijuana can benefit the country as a whole. So take into consideration the positive medical effects of legalizing weed, as well as the potential for federal taxation, the results of hemp production, and the possibility of reducing crime. Now, I know there seems to be a negative connotation that comes along with marijuana here, but if you do your research, you can realize that the plant itself does have valuable elements. For instance, its benefit when it comes to medical diseases. Now, this study shows that a list of diseases here, including ADHD, ADD, cancer, HIV, AIDS, epilepsy, Crohn's disease, etc., are proven to be helped when smoking marijuana. It is known to alleviate pain in most of these cases, and the side effects of smoking marijuana are actually less than those of the prescribed prescription drugs for most of these diseases. In addition, it can help with appetite loss that can be caused with a lot of these diseases. Continued, I know a lot of people in America worry that you can develop lung cancer from smoking marijuana. However, tobacco is a legal drug here in the United States, and marijuana can have the same effect as cigarettes, so it can give you lung cancer to the same percentage as tobacco does. Additionally, people believe you get impaired judgment. Now, alcohol is also a drug that is legal here in America, and in taking in excess, it can also impair your judgment. Therefore, we put rules and regulations into effect to keep people from harming themselves and others when consuming alcohol in excess, which can also be done if marijuana is legalized here. And then lastly, people say, you know, it's a drug. You can overdose and you can kill yourself, but there's not one case on record of someone dying from consuming marijuana alone. And in fact, a recent study shows that THC, the drug found in marijuana, would have to be consumed about 15,000 joints in 20-minute time period in order to be considered toxic. So again, I don't think anyone's going to be dying from overdosing on marijuana. Now, looking at federal taxation, the government spends so much money on the war against drugs, primarily the gateway drug, which is marijuana. Now, the government could stand to tax Americans $7 per gram of marijuana if it were to be legalized here in the United States. And in 2007 alone, the government seized 24,000 metric tons of marijuana. Now, if we do the math on that, $7 for 24,000 metric ton will come out to over $768 million that could be used for the federal government to get us out of our debt deficit. Something to consider. As far as the hemp production here, a lot of people don't know that hemp, unlike trees, is capable of producing much more paper than any tree known to man. In addition, it takes a tree about 20 to 50 years to become of age where we can actually cultivate it and use it for commercial use, whereas planting a hemp plant takes only about 4 months to grow to maturity so that we can cultivate it and use it. Additionally, hemp fibers are known to be 10 times stronger than that of cotton and produce twice as much per acre than cotton does. And lastly, hemp can be substituted for wood and building materials, and it can be done at a cheaper cost to Americans. Lastly, reducing criminal activity. Now, I know in countries such as Great Britain, Switzerland, and Holland, they have decriminalized marijuana, which doesn't mean that it's legal, but it is decriminalized, and since they have done so, the crime rates have significantly dropped in these countries. Now, Switzerland, for example, imagine this. They have reported 45 homicides within the last year. In Arizona alone, within the last month, there have been reported more than 45 homicides. So that being said, I think you can see here that legalizing marijuana also reduces crime rate. It reduces the drug cartels, the fight that we fight against drugs coming across our border. Additionally, in 2010, over 800,000 arrests were made for marijuana, and 90% of those were possession-only arrests. Now, I don't know about you, but I believe that police could be using their efforts in other ways, such as regulating more heinous crimes, such as murder, rape, and things of that nature, with the amount of time they use trying to regulate marijuana. If it was legalized, they would have more time to do so. Now, this is a map here showing some of the states that are currently in the process of legalizing marijuana, either for medical use or recreational use. The only two that haven't legalized completely are Washington and Colorado. And that being said, there's really evidence here proving that there is a need for marijuana to be legalized here in the United States, and it seems that according to the medical benefits, the federal taxation, the hemp production, and the lower crime rates, that it would be beneficial to America as a whole. Now, the numbers speak for themselves. So what can you do as an American citizen to help change these laws that are currently in place? All you have to do is go out and vote. Here as citizens, we have the right to vote for things we feel should be changed here in our Constitution, and the next time that you're out, make sure you cast a ballot to try and legalize marijuana. Thank you for your time. That's all the time we have.